chili is one of those great things that if you talk to certain individuals, they will tell you it's basically all meat, and if you talk to other people, it's combination. So today I'm going to go clear off the other side. This is vegetarian chili that has no meat in it at all, but it's great, and if you wanted to add a little bit of meat to it, you could, but it's one of those great things that you can prep ahead, use convenience foods, and so it's going to work out fine, even if you're a big meat eater, which I am too. All right, I've got about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and I'm going to put that in, and now that my pan is warmed up a little bit, which will help keep things from sticking, and we'll test it. That's close. We'll go ahead and add these in. You want the oil hot enough that you get a little bit of sizzle. I've got about half a cup of yellow or white onion that we're adding to this, and we're going to saute those around probably about 5 minutes. You can maybe turn them down a little bit than what we've got going here. You don't want them to burn if you can help it, or even brown, so just let them sizzle until they become translucent, and then we'll go ahead and add a few more things to the pot. I'm adding a chopped clove of garlic. Now if you get garlic in bottled jars, that's going to be about a teaspoon of garlic to that. And let that sizzle around while you're getting the next ingredient, which is 2 tablespoons of no salt added tomato paste. Now, if you have to get the kind with salt in it, it's not a tragedy. It's better if it doesn't, but you'll be okay. Next to that, we're going to add some other seasonings to it as well. A half a teaspoon of chili powder. Now, I'm using ancho chili powder, and I'll explain why. I've also got a half a teaspoon of cumin and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, I use the ancho chili in this because I want to build flavors, because it's not going to cook a long time. We don't have meat to add flavors, so we need to find some other ways to boost what we're getting. And then I'm going to stir it around while it's hot and actually cook those seasonings a little bit to get some of the raw taste out. The same with the tomato paste. We want it to keep sizzling, but you need to keep it a close eye on it. You'll notice I took it off the heat. You could turn it down. I'm used to using an electric range at home, and turning it down doesn't do anything. So it takes too long to respond, so I tend to take it off the heat. To this, I'm going to add some water. And with the water, I'm doing a couple of things. One, I'm adding some of the liquid, but I'm adding it slowly at this point, because if there's any little toasty bits on the bottom, I want to be able to cook them up and bring them forward. Just sort of deglaze the pan by adding the water to it. And I'll go ahead and add the rest. The recipe calls for a half a cup of water, but we're going to cook this quite a while. And so if you're going to, it can cook up to an hour. If you're going to cook it shorter than that, start with a half a cup. If you know you've got time and you're going to let it simmer for the full hour, then either keep an eye on it and add some more as it goes and as it needs it, or go ahead and start with a little bit more at this point so that you don't have to keep quite as close an eye on it. All right, time to add everything else. I've got 2 kinds of canned beans. I have pinto beans, and I also have kidney beans. Now, the thing that you want to do if you're using canned beans is rinse them off and then drain them well, because they're much less apt to give you gas problems later on if you do that. Also, a lot of people simply don't like the sliminess that comes with the beans that come out of the can. So it's easy to rinse it off. You're not moving a lot of nutrition out of the can. You're just making it so more people are going to like it. I also have half a cup of shredded carrots. Here, again, we're looking at ways where you can speed the process up. There are convenience products. These are actually available. The ones that I'm using are available on market. It's a way to use a convenience food. That's a healthy choice. You will pay a little bit more for it, but again, you're paying for someone's time, so that makes sense. Also to this, I'm going to add a 4-ounce can of chilies. And here you have the opportunity to make it spicier or less spicy by the kind of chili that you choose. I'm not a big spicy person. I know a lot of people in Oklahoma are, so I chose the mild ones, but feel free to choose the hotter ones if you've been down to Hatch. You could add to Mexico and have some New Mexico chilies. You could use those. You could also sub in about a half a cup of other kinds of peppers, anywhere from bell peppers to jalapeno peppers. This is where you get to be more creative and designate it just for your own family. Also in here, we have a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Again, a convenience product that's on the healthy side. Cooked tomatoes are a very good choice. We're able to acquire some of the nutrients from them much more easily if they're cooked than if they're raw. So this is one of those instances where raw food isn't necessarily the best choice. And then the last thing I'm putting in at this point in time is a half a cup of frozen corn. Again, if you got fresh corn, it would work fine. If you have canned corn, that would also work fine. This we're going to bring to a simmer and let it simmer anywhere from, we have to have dinner on the table now, up to an hour. It could go a little bit longer if you chose to do that. I already have one ready to go, so you can see the difference in what they look like if they are after time has gone by. This one I actually did add a little bit more water to it. I thought it was getting a little bit dry, so in the end it went up to about a cup of water that got in there. Now remember those seasonings, the herbs that we added early, the chili powder, the ancho chili powder, which you could use regular chili powder or chipotle chili powder, whichever one you have, and the cumin. We added those early on because we wanted those flavors to be blended in and have a long time to develop. At this point in time, we have gotten most of our flavor development done with those deep flavors, so now we're going to add something that's towards the end that's going to be brighter. And so I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano to this, and that's going to be a flavor that you'll perceive well because it's added on the top of this and it's fresh. At least got more of a fresh flavor even though it's dry than the flavors that we've had blended in there for a long time would. So this is very simple. Now the nice thing about this particular recipe is that it is one that's going into some of the schools now. So we've scaled it down from 50 servings per recipe like they'd need in the public schools in the Cooking for Kids program down to what you'd need for your own family. So if you find that your kids come home and say, they really had this great chili, well you can find this recipe on the Cooking for Kids website in the family size portion. You are allowed and encouraged, if you choose to, let me see, I had a ladle here, to add some cheese to this if you'd like. This recipe, as I said, makes 4 servings, so there's plenty for everybody, and this actually has a serving taken out of it so that we can make sure it was going to taste all right before we did it for the show. So you could sprinkle a little cheese on it, either regular cheese, which is not vegetarian, or if you're concerned and want to follow that vegetarian lifestyle, for this recipe at least, there are some non-vegetarian cheeses that you could add on it as well. We've snuck a little bit extra nutrition in with the carrots. We've got 2 kinds of beans, so this one is a good choice. Kids like it. I think adults are going to like it a lot, and it doesn't take a lot of time to get ready. It freezes fairly well too. It's vegetarian chili for Oklahoma Gardening. I'm Barbara Brown.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.